Thanks so much for tuning in to the latest episode of Beyond Ballin'. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and even hit that notification bell so that you get alerted every time I drop a new episode.
Everybody wanna come to LaLa Land. Everybody wanna come to LaLa Land.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Ballin'. I'm your host, LaLa Moten, and today I'm joined by Mawty Maw, musical genius, rapper, producer, entrepreneur, and the mastermind behind the University of Maryland men's basketball team anthem, Gold Rush. We're going to be talking sports, music, and everything in between. Mawty, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
I appreciate you having me, LaLa, for sure. Love what y'all got going on, so it's a blessing to be here.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Now, Mawty, we're going to jump right in because it's Beyond Ballin', right? So we talk about sports. And I watched, some clips of you shooting some hoops at some celebrity basketball games. And you have some game.
A little something.
A little something.
Yeah, something cool.
You went to DeMatha. I had
Right.
Quinn Cook on this podcast. We all know, in this area, how big DeMatha is.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your sports journey. Did you play any sports growing up? And how did that work out for you?
So for me, growing up, my whole family loved basketball. So my cousin, Aunt Cowan, he played at St. John's. We grew up together. So being over their house, basketball was always a huge part of just our whole upbringing, So playing in the backyard led to just wanting to see what it was like to play on the team. Whenever he was on the squad, I got the chance to practice with everybody, whether it was like Bowie Magic in the beginning, DC Assault. Eventually, I was able to just kind of get the whole experience from just being around that. And I played a little bit myself, like county hoops, nothing crazy, middle school ball. So it was more so just a thing where, if I could, I would, but it wasn't like a priority.
Mm-hmm.
By no means was basketball ever like a priority for real.
No, but that's real.
I love the sport though and learned a lot from it. So yeah, that's really my background with it. When I got to DeMatha, that was cut short. So
Yeah, because you were focused. Obviously, you were immersed in music. In basketball terms, we'd say that it's in your blood.
exactly.
Because both of your parents were in or are in the entertainment business. Your dad
Mhm.
is a jazz musician. Your mom worked at BT.
Right.
Talk to me about how it was growing up in such a, musical family.
Growing up was honestly, it was so carefree. Like a lot of this stuff just kind of happened naturally. Cause the fact, just off the strength of my mom being so heavy on writing at such a young age, it used to be kind of a hassle for real because it was always applied through schoolwork and stuff like that. It wasn't so much tied into my own creative endeavors at the time. I didn't even know I had any endeavors at that time. So, but my father, when he was home, because he been on the road since way before I was born. So whenever he was home, just waking up, you smell the breakfast downstairs, but then you hear the piano too. It's it just became kind of like one of those things that you just kind of long for or just kind of just gravitate towards naturally for real.
Mhm.
So I would hear him play and then I would go downstairs, see him playing, and I would want to know how he was doing it. Even before I even had the knowledge to be able to ask, you know what I'm saying? How do I do this or how do I do that? I just started banging on the keys. So my mom saw that as a sign to go ahead and get me involved in some type of musical activity and stuff. So that's kind of how growing up led me to piano. I'll say at 3, 4 years old,
Wow, yeah.
around that age.
A savant.
Yeah.
That's what, at 4 years old, 3 years old, to be able to play the piano at such a young age,
Yeah.
Do you remember the moment when you were doing it and you were like, okay, not only does this come easy to me,
Mhm.
but I enjoy it?
I think being able to the earliest memory I could really legit remember right now is when I wanted to learn how to play this song, like a Charlie Brown joint, like Christmas joint that you hear every year. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
when I sat down with my pops and he taught me the left hand to it, because the left hand is the part everybody remember, like that. So when I started hearing that jump and started just kind of peeping how his hands was moving with it, and I was emulating it and hearing that same sound, that's when I realized, oh, I could do it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people can't really get that hand-eye coordination when it comes to playing the keys and stuff, but it was natural, and I wanted that same feeling over and over again with the songs that I cherish. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. So your father, for those of you guys who do not know, is Marcus Roberts, legendary jazz musician. I mean, he's been featured on CBS's 60 Minutes,
yeah.
and countless other productions. Did you ever feel any pressure to get into music because of, who your dad was?
No, I never felt pressured by it at all because he personally he always tell me he didn't really care if I did or not for real. Like it wasn't like a thing where he wanted me to be a
Mhm.
pianist or nothing like that. My mom was the one that was really applying most of the pressure for real. Like she wanted me to learn. Her thing was learn an instrument and another language,
Mhm.
and so that was more so like where the pressure came from. It wasn't because I grew up, it was me and my mom for the most part growing up in
Mhm.
the house and stuff. So she would be the one, making sure I go to these practices and stuff, like learning how to play the keys with these teachers who, I didn't personally want to do it at the time. I just wanted to play what I wanted to play, but she was the one that put the structure around me for real. So I ain't feel pressure necessarily uh from the fact that my pops was who he was. I really didn't come to really fully understand who he was until I was like older. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So
Wow.
so that's kind of like how it was growing up. I didn't really have any pressure from the legacy, I would say.
And then as you grew up and you realized like who he was and what he did in,
Mhm.
the music field, did it make more sense to you like why you felt so drawn to it a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. That was well put. I think off the strength of just, I mean, yeah, I feel like as I started to understand more about who my mom and my dad was,
Mhm.
because for a while it kind of felt like they kept a lot from me for real, and I didn't really understand where everything was, to be completely transparent in terms of just like how they met, or like, you know what I'm saying, just little
Yeah.
things that you always, in a typical household, you'll hear, you'll have your parents tell you stories and stuff about how they met and all this and that. A
Yeah.
lot of that for me didn't come until like my 20s for real. So
Wow.
growing up, it wasn't like that was a part of it. I would say like once I started to kind of like get to know a little bit more about them and where they were in my years, you know what I'm saying? Like it definitely started to click as to why I was so, just so ambitious about it.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. So you talked about playing the piano. I mean, we can see on Instagram you playing. That's what I did when I was
Mhm.
preparing for this interview. I was just watching you play and no lie, I think I'm so used to, watching film from athletes and like the
Mm.
look in your eye
Mhm.
is something super inspiring, I think, when you play piano because you can just tell that, and I'm not just saying this because you're right here, but truthfully
Uh-huh.
that you love what you're doing, but also that it just comes easy to you.
Yeah.
It's
I
kind of
agree.
like effortless, like just the way your hands are moving. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. The compositions that you're doing are not easy.
Mhm. Right.
You've done a lot of recreations of some songs by
Mhm.
different artists, and I think you went viral a few times, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All kind of.
What's the first
Mhm.
song do you remember that you recreated and you went viral for?
Um, I think the first one would have been "Who You Fooling" by Gunna. That's
Mhm.
the most memorable one I can remember because it was like one of the joints where the both the producer and the artist reached out to me and tapped in with me and stuff. So I would say that's the one I can remember. I feel like I started doing it back in 2017. For a long time, I wasn't like for a long time I was just rapping and wasn't even trying to bring piano to the table because I just never thought piano was something that the rest of the world thought was cool for real. Like
Wow.
growing up, it was funny because like growing up, um, if you ain't play a sport, at least around the people I was around, like I grew up around a bunch of hoopers and stuff. So in a way when we was young, it was kind of like looked upon as like something kind of like nerdy to do for real.
Wow.
Like to be playing the piano and stuff. So I'm not gonna say it ever made me like not want to do it because I loved it.
Of
So,
course.
but it wasn't something I was trying to like implement within my artistry. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely get what you're saying. I
So
mean, like
yeah.
being from this area, I've talked about it on pretty much every episode. It's kind of like eat, breathe, sleep, sports,
Exactly. Yeah,
So I
for
think
sure.
a lot of the ambitions that people have outside of that kind of
Hmm.
get,
Kind
diminished
of
a
swept
little
under the
bit.
rug a little bit.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
a little bit. But I think
for
that's
sure.
awesome. I went to Thomas Pullen. I was a
Right.
chorus major. So,
Okay.
yeah,
That's all
I
right.
can do a little something.
Yeah.
So I love music,
Okay.
so I would be one of those people who would be like, "No, you better play that piano." But I totally
Hmm.
understand what you're saying. Whereas like some people kind of like,
Yeah,
it's different.
for sure.
I think you having that jazz background
Mhm.
and now, focusing on hip hop with the songs that you put out now,
Mhm.
is amazing. But how do
Mhm.
you kind of fuse both of those genres together?
It's crazy because like growing. Well, let me start. Like, I'm gonna start by saying, back when hip hop was coming onto the scene, jazz musicians were very like popular at the time. Like, jazz was huge, and their whole thing was kind of like this rap stuff not really music. So to me, it's interesting how they looked at it like it wasn't music at all. But I look at the two, and I'm like, they so similar. Because if you
Mm,
think about what jazz is. Um, you're taking whether you take a Stevie Wonder song or you can take anybody's song and add your own style to it. And improv is huge in jazz, whereas in hip hop, I look at improv as freestyle. So it's like all kind of artists freestyle, and well, I mean nowadays I don't know if that's still like as popular among most artists, but freestyling was like a huge element of hip hop, which to me is the equivalent of improv and jazz. And one of my favorite things about playing the keys and everything is improv, like being able to take a song and do your own spin on it and play it how you feel it. And that's what I feel like with hip hop. Like my mentality kind of derives from that type of essence. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like
Yeah.
just looking at music as something that's not necessarily supposed to be so structured, but it's free. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and that's what I found. Whether it be vocally or on the instrument, it's the same type passion, same type drive
Mhm.
for real.
Yeah.
And that's how I try to kick it on both sides for real. So
That's awesome.
you know,
So you're at Bowie State right now and you're
yep.
studying music
Technology, yep.
technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that's different because
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of artists don't really know the technical aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about like the elements that go into creating a composition,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about like a jazz
Yeah.
piece and then hip hop, what are those elements? And you can speak in musical terms,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all better Google what he's saying.
For sure.
What are the elements that you can bring to each, and like how do you merge them together?
So specifically, like at the school at Bowie State, the classes I'm taking at Bowie right now, or over the past couple, I'll say the past couple semesters, have taught me a lot that I could bring to the table in terms of just composition. Like, for example, there's a program called Sibelius that we use. That's pretty much the program that allows you to put music on sheet, like on staff paper and stuff like that.
Wow.
So you're able to not only are you able to to write music on it and put the musical notation, like quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, all that stuff, like just the rest, dynamics, stuff like that, you're able to pretty much write real music, like real sheet music. Like back in the day, they didn't have all this
Mhm.
technology and stuff, so they was writing music with their hands and stuff. And this is pretty much the technology. This is the program that allows you to do it on the computer software and stuff. So
Wow.
that's one thing I was able to like for example, when I was in school the first time, because I told you I took like 2 years off
Yeah.
when I felt like it wasn't connected to what I really wanted to do. I took like 2 years off. When I came back, I had all this stuff with Maryland going on, and I had opportunities to do like halftime shows for the football team and stuff, where that we had like 200 access to 250 musicians. So I
Yes.
was able to utilize the skill set that I was building in school and be able to get them the music and stuff, because I had to compose that whole
Wow.
10-minute halftime show and put all the notes down for everybody. And I worked with Craig Potter. Shout out to Craig Potter. That's a good man. He really took me under his wing. He's the director of the marching band and stuff at UMD.
Wow.
So he took me under his wing a little bit and put me on game to how to like, you can write the music, but you got to be able to know which instruments can hit what notes and all kind of stuff. I was able to learn from him. So
Yes. Be an actual conductor
exactly,
in your
yeah,
own
like
right.
Dr. Lee on the drum lines.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was like the same type vibe. Like we got a
Wow.
whole vlog of that whole process. So I'm hoping to get that out soon so I can share it with everybody, because it's really a hell of a process bringing all this stuff together for real.
Yes. I mean, that is just so amazing because I'm sure people after hearing this, there's not a lot of artists that have that background that are
Right.
able to, kind of dive beyond themselves and bring
Yeah.
instruments into it
Right.
as
Right.
well. So talk to me about that collaboration that you've done with University of Maryland. You
Mhm.
are the mastermind behind their anthem Gold Rush.
Right.
I've seen the clips. The
Mhm.
kids go crazy singing
Yeah.
the song. I mean, that's got to be
Crazy.
surreal. Talk to me
Yeah.
about that.
So we dropped the song back in 2022,
Okay.
but like if I'm being real with you, like I remember like the beginning, first time they played it and everything. A couple people recognized me here and there. And I could tell that, they was like identifying me as, okay, it's the artist who did the song and stuff. But it wasn't until, I mean, honestly, within that first year, I started noticing a lot of love off that jump, just off the strength of the UMD fan base being
Yeah.
so like they so solid.
The
Like,
Terrapins, they go
man,
crazy.
Turb Nation crazy. So it's like I would say 2025 though, this year specifically has been like bigger than it's ever been. And I think it's crazy to see how over the years, because I think the biggest thing that was missing was the performance element. I didn't get the chance to perform it till this year for real. So
Oh,
that was my
okay.
first time performing it at the halftime show against Wisconsin towards the end of their season. That was a Gold Rush game. So that was like a great opportunity to finally kind of
Mhm.
put everything we've been putting together like in front of people for them to see it in like live type stuff, live format. So after that, like I mean, not only have I been able to get more personable with the fans up there and stuff and tap in with them of like whether it be the meet and greets or whether it be me pulling up the little venues on campus just to, perform and stuff. It's been the biggest it's ever been this year. And I think it's huge because it's like when I made it, I didn't expect it to go past 1 year for real, if I'm being
Wow.
transparent with you. And now they talking about it being a tradition. So it's a blessing for her to be able to be a part of that. Even though I
Yes.
didn't get I didn't get into number one, I didn't go to Maryland. I didn't get into Maryland
But
like
you're from,
PG
this
County.
area.
Yeah, for sure.
I
So
mean, it's huge.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. And then to be able to have, my family, they all got to come and check it out. Cause a lot of my family members, not just aunt, went to Maryland and stuff. So yeah,
Wow.
my mom graduated from Maryland.
Oh,
My uncle, my aunts, my aunt worked there for years
wow.
with students and stuff, athletes and everything. So it was a full circle moment for real.
I'm sure. I
For
mean,
sure.
so congratulations if I didn't say that already. That is super huge.
Thank you.
What inspired you while you were making the song? Obviously, you
Um,
brought in elements of, the area. When we listen
right,
to the song, there's a lot of references
right.
to Maryland, but how did you get your inspiration for the song?
Well, the thing about me that a lot of my list, I don't know if people know this, but I've been making music for like sports teams since like high school for real.
Wow, I didn't
Like
know
not
that.
not for like a lot of sports teams, but just for like the ones that I was connected to the players with. Like
Okay.
whether it was DC Assault, that was the first time I ever did it. I made a song for their team. I forgot what age group this was, but this was back when like the team had just merged.
Do you
Uh,
remember who was on the team?
for sure, we had Aunt Lonnie, Red. Well, shout out Joe Hampton, all the guys, Sam Green,
Maybe like
Boog.
15U?
Maybe it was 15 years,
Because
like
they're all my
whatever.
year. We're
Okay.
the same age.
So whatever year y'all was like, I would
Because
say
I was on
probably like
Takeover.
20. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking I had to be like 2012, 13-ish.
Oh, so then
Maybe it was
babies. Maybe,
2012, 13.
yeah.
Yeah, because it
Okay.
was it
So
was a
even
while
younger.
ago.
Okay, so you were 13
Yeah.
making songs.
About the team. Just like, yeah,
Wow.
like they had tournaments and stuff. They was riding to the game, like going to the tournaments, playing the song and stuff. And to me, if I hear that song today, I'm a cringe. Cause it's
No.
like
What was the name of the song?
it was just called DC Assault. And then
Oh,
I think I got on this beat called UOENO.
okay.
You don't even know essentially, but it was Rocco and Future. They had a song called You Don't Even Know It. Like, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
You
yeah,
might
yeah.
know it when you hear it, but I used that beat type stuff and just rapped about everybody on the team. And I had all kind of like clever lines.
Why does it sound like I kind of remember this?
You might though, like, cause it was
Yeah,
it started
and then
moving. That's kind of
yeah.
when I kicked my stuff off rock wise. Like that was
Wow.
one of the first ways. I just realized at a young age how the rap game, at least locally, if you wasn't rapping about the streets or like some type of like crazy singer or something, I didn't think it was a real lane for anybody to get any real recognition. But I
Wow.
saw how sports opened that up at a
Yeah.
like an early age, and I just started
Wow.
making music for them, and they started spreading it, showing they peoples. I went back to DeMatha, and everybody had heard the jump. So that was kind of how I started doing the sports music. So by the time I got to the College Park joint, by the time I got to Gold Rush, I already kind of had that formula. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got to find a way to weed in all the players, get them catchy lines and stuff, whether you referencing their jersey numbers or whether you referencing certain moments in their career, just making them feel like you really connect with what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That was my goal with Gold Rush. And the difference with Gold Rush, as I've said in previous interviews, was just the fact that it was actually about the legacy and not just one team.
Mhm.
So that was my goal, was just to be able to touch on as many different key moments and players and stuff that the Turb Nation would connect with throughout the whole legacy, not just the recent roster and stuff.
No, that is super awesome. So when they came to you for the opportunity to
Hmm.
do the song for University of Maryland, did they know about the songs that you've done previous?
Nah, nah,
No, nobody
nah.
knew.
They ain't know none of
Oh my
that.
gosh. So how did the collaboration come about? Did they just reach out to you or was it something that they
the way I remember it was like, I remember I got a DM on Twitter,
Okay.
and I rarely be checking my Twitter. I still gotta do better with that
Mhm.
because people be hitting you on that zone. You gotta
Yeah.
check that zone. You gotta
And the
check everything.
requests.
But yeah, like for real. So I got a DM on that joint, and it was Mike Farrell, and he's a real good dude. Shout out to Mike, man. He connected me with Connor. So pretty much Connor came from, he's the director of media
Okay.
for Terp Athletics for real. I think basketball and football. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother, but pretty much he came from Kansas, and he had just got to UMD that year, 2022, I believe. And he was just doing research on how they could revive some of the energy in terms of just like the culture. Like they
Fan
wanted,
base and everything.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they started just studying stuff. And I think what really led him to me was the football team had already been using my regular music for like highlights and stuff. So
Ah,
yeah, because the
that's awesome.
thing is too, coming from DeMatha around the time I was coming out, there was a lot of players going straight from DeMatha to UMD, as well
True.
as some of the coaches. Like we had Anthony McFarland, DJ Turner,
Yeah.
Lorenzo Harrison, who else? Tino Ellis, a lot of guys. Like, I'm sure it was more too. I want to say Squill was on that, was part of that DMV to UMD move, but yeah. So all them coming out onto that football roster, I think led to some of the football guys kind of like checking out my music. And Tony Price had reached out to me and used my music for the highlights. Shout out to Tony Price. He really put my stuff out there early. And then I think that's how Connor found me when he got there type stuff. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
obviously networking is huge.
Huge.
I mean,
Yeah.
people underestimate it, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I believe so, and I think being intentional with your music and lyrics too, like that's another thing. Like I'm super intentional with a lot of my songs. Some things be more carefree, like if you just having fun with it, making a hit or whatever. But I was super intentional with a lot of the freestyles that kind of caught their attention and stuff.
Wow.
And I remember how that just manifested. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like a lot of stuff that I didn't try to do on purpose, just off the strength of me being intentional with a couple phrases, just seeing how it was able to kind of unravel and stuff once the right people found it, you know?
Yeah. So when you're
So,
talking about being intentional,
mhm,
going back to the elements, when you're creating a song for a sports team,
mhm.
I'm sure it's different than creating just a regular single, right?
Mm,
Or is it not
to me,
for you?
I think it's differences and similarities for sure.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
What are the differences? Like, what are those
mhm,
elements that maybe you have to implement that you wouldn't when
right.
you're just creating a regular single?
I feel like in a regular single, you're not necessarily trying to. I mean, you might reference a couple people, you know what I mean, a
Yeah.
couple lines, but it's not gonna be like that consistent. It's way more consistent when you try and rep like sports teams or like um or I mean, for example, honestly, the thing about it, the reason why I say is because every song is different. I say like for the most part, it's probably more similarities than different than there are differences because I feel like there's always gonna be a topic. I mean, at least in my world, there's always gonna be a topic. There's always gonna be like little things you want to break down throughout the song, and there's always gonna be structure. Like you're gonna have intro, grab their attention, hook, all right, reel them in. Back to the verse, what we talking about. Let's close out strong, hook, and we gone. Like whatever the structure is, there's always gonna be that in any song that I make for real, unless it's a freestyle. Like I don't know. I feel like for the most part, just having a topic and being able to, you know how like you write an essay in school, it's like the same type formula.
Bringing me
for real.
back. Yeah.
You feel me?
I
Like
remember.
you open it with the, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into all that.
Yeah,
But
gonna hurt
y'all
my
get what I'm
head.
saying? Yeah.
No, yes.
Yeah, you did what I'm saying.
They have ChatGPT now, so I don't even know.
man,
Yeah.
that shit crazy, dog.
I
Nah, for
would have.
real.
Would have been great. But speaking of singles,
Mhm.
you have a new one out.
Yeah.
Go Shawty.
Yeah.
I love it.
I appreciate
I
it.
love it. You mentioned Pilates in there. I'm
Yeah.
on a Pilates girl kick.
Oh, for real?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am.
That's what's
Solid
up.
Core sees me often.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the inspiration for that song.
Honestly, my man sent me a beat. Shout out to Cash Money AP. That's my dog. He always send me packs and stuff. I'm just trying like just play through joints, and I'm thinking like which way am I gonna go for the new year and everything. Trying just because I got a vault full of songs, but I wanted something that was more fitting to the times of today. You know what I mean? Like that whole drill wave in New York has been taking the whole industry by storm. I felt like I wanted to do it, but for the longest, I also felt like I tried it before in the past. I just couldn't find my own sound with it. I didn't want to sound like Cobain or sound like, and it's no disrespect to none of these guys.
Yeah.
I love personally what they doing. It's just more so not wanting to feel like I'm biting somebody's style or biting somebody's sound. I wanted to be able to bring something organic from me to it.
Hmm.
So that beat is like it's perfect for like the type of stuff that I make. And I was able to kind of just, the whole approach behind that song was just being free. But I wanted to make something that empowered women specifically. You know what I mean? I didn't want to just make something that was going to be, you know what I mean, like similar to all the other joints out. I wanted something that was going to empower women to do something productive and just being independent, just like really just giving kudos to y'all for real.
Oh,
Because
and we
a lot of
appreciate
black
it.
women get, a lot of black women getting shunned upon, and I feel like you got to make music that's going to empower your people. I feel like that's what gives it longevity for real.
Mm. Where
So
did you learn that? Because I feel
what?
like, in today's day and age,
Hmm.
music can be so divisive,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
polarizing,
Facts.
instead of bringing people together.
Hmm.
But what about your music? Like, why did you know like that's important for today?
Um, Honestly, my mom probably is a huge reason,
Yeah.
but just the way she raised me for real and the things she always say, like, cause she support my music and she'll always tell me like, those are cool, but like make sure you get them joints that's like, you know what I mean? Like you want to empower your people.
Mm.
The thing is like you either got, you know how they say controversy sells?
Yeah,
The
negativity
polarizing and
sells.
stuff. It's a reason behind all that.
That's
Like,
true.
you know what I mean? So they selling beef, they selling all that. But the stuff that the same on the same token, like I feel like in that same ticket, you can have music that's empowering, like that feeds like positivity to somebody that they can hold on to for years and years to come. Like love songs ain't gonna die. You know
It's
what I'm
true.
saying? It's always gonna be room for that in the world. Not just the industry, but the world. So you gotta think about what the world need. Like we going through a rough time right now. Like I'm like, let's put some positivity, y'all. I'm not a dark dude. I
Yeah.
want to spread some light. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
go shorty, you can still have fun with it. My whole thing is you can have fun. You don't gotta like, you know what I mean? Just cause it fits the club and everything. Like the
Mm-hmm.
club don't gotta be looked upon so like dark either. Like it's really just about intention. And that's why I just was trying to be intentional with that. And knowing that the world needs more positive, I'm like, let me make something that's not degrading women, but uplifting. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Oh my gosh. Kudos to you. I think that is amazing.
I appreciate it.
When people listen
So
to your music, what do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel motivated to get up and do whatever they trying to do. Cause that's how I
Yeah.
felt when I listened to Chris Brown, when I listened to like 50 Cent, whoever it was. Like I listen to music that makes me feel like I could get up and do something.
Definitely.
You know? Like
Yeah.
you know how you be in the gym and you might got like a couple more reps left. And then you might give out with the music got you going. Like
It's true.
that's the type of energy I want to provide. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Motivational.
Yeah, exactly.
So you received a lot of love from this area. The DMV community loves you. For those people who are outside of the community who maybe are not familiar with your work,
Hmm.
how would you describe it to them?
I would describe my work as melodic, harmonious, and motivational.
Mm.
That's what I would say. Cause I feel like the thing about my music is like it's when I say the words my music, like that's like a huge statement. It's not just like my rap, it's not just my piano, it's just like my music. Like the way my spirit is directed melodically. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I feel as though harmony is one of the biggest things. I feel like harmony makes music what it is because you know how you got some instruments that are one voice, like saxophone, that's one voice. But if you want to be able to play bigger pieces, you need another instrument to play alongside of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing
Yes.
about the piano that's so special to me is that you could use all 10 of your fingers and play 10 voices if you crazy like that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I say that to say like I feel like my music has always been super like I'm super big on like melody and harmony and stuff. So you'll feel that in the music and that provokes different emotions, which are, can be motivational, uplifting. So that's what I would say about my music. Even Gold Rush, like I feel like what it's done for College Park is damn near like it's damn near giving us the understanding that yeah we've been rebuilding or whatever for the past couple years, but
Yeah.
we coming and
Yes. And
it's just
Maryland's
like the
good this
gold
year.
rush. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
looking sweet. They looking real
Yes.
good this year. I'm
Women and
hoping we could
men's.
do everything we can do in this tournament and stuff. But overall, it's about the long game. It's like feel the turtle. They talk about it all the time. I'm like the turtle wins the race. You can't you can't race at this stuff and try to go too fast. You know what I mean? You got to try to take it brick by brick, and slow and steady wins the race. And that's why I look at it like Gold Rush is so huge, because it uplifted a community of people, and they not just rocking with these guys. It's win or lose. Like, it's not just if they win. You know, they rocking with you win or
Yes.
lose. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's what my music come with. I feel like, depending, obviously I could take it to some sad stuff if I wanted to express that, but even that's gonna be harmonious, and I'm not gonna just do it off some
And
depressing.
maybe it'll still make you feel better.
Yeah,
Like it's speaking from a place of sadness, but not to stay there.
exactly.
Right?
That's
To
well said.
uplift,
Very well said.
uplift the
That's
person.
exactly what I'm going for too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Feel me?
So obviously sports and music go hand in hand. We've seen, especially basketball. I'm gonna stick to basketball. Players like Shaq. Now we see Jello with his
Yeah.
tweaker. Who
Yeah.
else? Damian Lillard. Isaiah Todd, who I had on this podcast. He
Oh,
does
okay.
music.
That's tough.
Why do you feel like sports and music go so well together?
I think it's cause they both, I feel like they both trigger like similar emotions, but in different ways. And it's kind of like, for example, I'll say like Lil Wayne, how when he says a punchline, the way it makes the way it makes you feel, like it's like,
Yeah.
damn, how'd he come up with that? Or when AI cross over, like when he go in and out 2020, it's like, golly, like how he, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's just a respect thing of just respecting like people's crafts, like, because everybody who does something, like, like we all know, like when you are really good at something,
Yes.
it takes time to do that. Like, you didn't just wake up and start being who you are. Like, you're just how comfortable you are behind all the cameras and the mics and talking to people. You make it so natural. That takes work. I don't know if you were like that from the beginning, but like I told you,
No,
I
it's
feel
a
like,
work. Yeah.
yeah,
And there's
it's
always room for
natural to.
improvement.
It's just like how you tell me, like with the keys and stuff. It
Yeah.
seems so natural and stuff, but it took a lot. It take a lot of work, and I think there's a lot of similarities that we don't get to see, because like I said, I didn't get to grow up pursuing basketball. So I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like
I do.
for an artist who's never grew up around basketball at all, they probably grew up admiring the talent, like the finished product, like when you see it on ESPN. But it's like the curiosity of how you got there. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
And on top of that, music go with everything. Like you can't have anything without music. Like,
I agree.
you know what I'm saying?
Our culture in general.
That's
like,
true.
Mm-hmm.
Where we grow up, the things that are depending. There's different levels of basketball players, like from their background,
Yeah.
Right.
versus what it used to be a long time ago and now. So I think when we were growing up, a lot of hoopers came from the trenches and
Yeah.
from the hood.
Yeah.
Facts.
Music and sports is what you do to get away to not get in trouble.
That's a
So
fact.
even if you're a hooper, you
It's two
listen to
lanes.
music while you're doing everything. Whatever it is. And
Yeah.
now, so if you look at the ones, except Jello, like he didn't grow up in the trap. Like all the other rappers, all the other artists.
Don't play with Jello.
I don't even know.
All the hoopers who rap now grew up in those types
It's
of
true.
communities. But then the ones who don't rap are the ones whose parents were in the NBA or went to private school or that type of lifestyle. So I think
That's
that's
true.
kind of where it comes with. And if they didn't hoop, they would rap. And then most of the rappers wish they could hoop. Say all their homies play, or you go to school basketball or whatever it is, or football, and that's the thing. But music is just a part of our culture.
No,
I
that's a fact.
agree.
I
I
agree.
agree.
That's a huge part. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that too.
Like the lanes that we go.
And we don't see Cooper Flag with an album.
Oh yeah, you think so?
No,
I was about to say you. Yeah, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so. Have you ever heard a song that was made by an athlete, current or former, and you were like, oh yeah, this is hard. Like this is a hard song. Period. Like not just for this person, not just because he's lit already, and so
Right.
people are gonna like jump on the bandwagon. But like this is a good song.
Yeah.
And you know a good song.
For sure.
Have you heard one?
What was one? I know it's one I heard. I'm gonna be real. I've heard a lot of like dope stuff from different athletes, because I just remember being number one. We was in the studio with, like, I remember like 2018, summer 18, all the like everybody like from the WCAC to just be coming through the studio land. We working and making songs and stuff. So it's a lot of talent. I can't think of a specific song like by name,
Yeah.
but I know I've heard some of Damian Lillard stuff that I was like, oh yeah, nah, he flowing.
Or what about one athlete who you think has like a lot of potential? And like if they
Rap
were
wise,
to take who?
rap wise, you
Rap
think?
wise, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Or like if they were to, take it extremely serious, they could go
hmm
somewhere
man.
and switch lanes.
Let me think. Like in the league or something.
They don't have to be.
Okay, you
Like,
talking about in
yeah, like
general?
even if it was somebody that maybe you knew, like
Right,
who played in
right.
the WCAC and you were like, okay, yeah, like you're actually really good at this.
Yeah,
Anybody? You want to shout them out?
I would say, man, Sam Green for one.
Oh, Sam.
I gotta shout Sam out. He tough.
Okay.
Like if you really listen to him, like I really rock with his poetic device, and he been rapping since we was
Mm.
like young. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
and I've known Sam for a long time. I didn't even know he.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
I would say
awesome.
him if he like with all the right tools and
Pieces.
everything, be able to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's one that got that type of potential. Look, I would say Showtime John. Then with the Mac, that's my dog. He used to come to the studio like every day. He was in the studio more than me for real.
Wow.
But he just caught on to the melodic delivery so effortlessly. I was like, okay, yeah, he got something. Like, and his brother's an artist too, so I'm like, maybe it's
Okay.
something in the family. But yeah, I would say those two
Those two.
specifically are the first two that I
Shout out to them. Are they
yeah.
still making music currently?
I don't. John right now working on like a series. Like he working on
Oh,
something called The Temptations We Face. That's like a show he got coming out. I feel like
wow.
that's a dope transition because he was playing college hoops for a while. I know he played for several different D1 schools, but he decided he wanted to pursue after that career, like being a director and a writer of his own
Wow.
series and stuff. So that he got that coming out, and then Sam is he still got the equipment in the studio stuff. He's putting all his stuff together, but I'm sure it's something that like he'll always do because it's kind of like if you love it, it's damn near like a video game. Like
Yeah, you
you
can
know what I'm saying?
always
You
do it.
plug up the same way you plug up the P5, you can set up the studio and stuff wherever you at
It's so
and express
true.
yourself, and have
Yeah.
fun with it. So I feel like he'll always do it too.
Is there any athlete who you feel like you guys could come together and create a hit? Maybe they're not even like a rapper right now, and it could be a female athlete too, but it's like,
Mm.
like they have a fan base.
Uh-huh.
You kind of feel like, from what you know, their vibe fits the
Mm.
type of music that you create.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like, with the tools that you have,
Yeah.
you can create a hit with them.
Yeah.
Because, it just takes, like how we talk about networking, it takes knowing the right person.
That's a fact.
Because somebody could write me a song.
Absolutely.
And I think I could do a little something
No,
with
for
it.
sure.
But you know what I mean? So who do you feel like you could do that for? And you're like, oh yeah, and it'll blow.
Um, I could say Dame, but that would be easy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like just off the strength of who he is and my just both of our talents because he's got talent lyrically. But I want to say somebody. I mean, the thing about me, if I'm being real with you, I feel like if I could work with somebody who's open, it don't matter who they are. Like we could make a hit. You know
You
what I'm
heard it
saying?
here,
Like
folks.
you feel me? Like that's how I see it. Cause I've worked with all types of people who not serious about music and made quality stuff before. You know what I'm saying? But if I had to say somebody, I say Ant just off the strength, like,
Yeah.
cause we've been on that, and on top of that, it's like Maryland would go crazy over something like that. So
Wow.
I just put that out
So
there.
what's he doing now? He's playing in Lithuania?
Lithuania, yeah.
Okay,
So
awesome.
he's in Lithuania right now. This is like his first year over there and stuff. He had played in Greece for the past 3 years, but yeah, bro, he came home like a couple weeks ago for a quick little week or
Yeah,
whatever.
so
Like he
when
had a
he's
little break.
home,
Yeah,
you'll get up with him and maybe you guys will create a song?
possibly, man. We need to get back
Okay.
in this, man, for
That
real.
would be great. For
Yeah.
young artists
hmm
trying to make a way in
hmm
the music industry,
Yeah.
what's a piece of advice that you'd give them?
A huge piece of advice I would give them is to get out the comfort zone early and not to be, I would say, don't be overruled by failure. Like, don't let failure outweigh the journey. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
so, like, when I first started, my whole thing was I didn't even know you could do it. I remember when I found out you could record music and I just took it and ran with it. And
Wow.
the reality was I didn't really know what I was trying to do with it. I just felt like I was nice. You know what I'm saying? Like I could put words together. I felt like I had a unique voice. But as far as knowledge behind the business, even with all the people around me that I had, and being young, I didn't want my parents to even know that I did. Everybody's situation different. But for
Mhm.
me specifically, I had people that could have been a direct like source of knowledge that I just wasn't even utilizing and stuff because of my fear of them not being supportive of it. And I think that kind of set back our growth as a unit a couple years. You know, it set us back probably 5 years as far as how we could have been moving back when all that stuff was going on.
Maybe, but I mean, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think sometimes, and I've talked about this on another episode,
Mhm.
kind of being thrown into the fire, maybe with no direction, is
Mm,
oftentimes
the
a
best
quicker
way.
way to learn.
Yeah, that's 100. I
You
agree
know
with
what I
that too.
mean?
I agree a
Because you learn
thousand
on your
percent.
own, and then I
Hmm.
think your ability to be resilient is
Yeah,
different,
true.
right? When
Nah, for
you're
sure.
not focused on like a perfect path that you're trying to,
Yeah,
stick on,
I see what you're
you're kind of
saying.
more open to anything,
Right.
if that makes any sense. And then
Nah,
when
for
you do
sure.
figure out the right way to do it, it's like, oh, I could have been doing
Yeah,
this the whole time, but I have other
exactly.
ways to do it as well.
That's a fact. Nah, for sure. I feel like overall, like just in terms of knowing, like just knowing how I was thinking versus what I know now, I'm like, damn, like whole time I could have just told them what I was on, and they probably
Mhm.
would have been super supportive back then. But overall, though, the thing about it, I'll say is just like I remember how like you know how they say ignorance is a bliss. It was almost like I just found something that made me feel like I knew exactly what my purpose was,
Mm.
and but didn't necessarily know how to monetize it, how to go about elevating. Because in basketball, the thing in sports, period, it's implemented in the system. So like
It's
when you're in
true.
school, the structure, like if you want to play college ball, you know you gotta play high school ball, and you know you gotta have the grades, you know you gotta have X, Y, Z. With rap, it's really you could blow up overnight and have to leave school. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
or you, you could just be out here doing it for years and
Yes.
never figure
And stuck.
anything out. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And like I feel like for me, uh the thing that allowed me to grow was being able to learn from mistakes because you're gonna make them. Nobody's helping you along the journey. You know, for any young guy out there, young woman out there, just try and figure it out. Nobody's gonna be there every step of the way with you in the beginning. You're not making all kind of like millions to be able to pay everybody involved, but just be open to where God's leading you. Because if you really aware, you'll look around and you'll know who you're supposed to be rocking with. You just gotta be a student of the game. And I
Mhm.
feel like if you're a student of the game, that means you're gonna listen to people who have done it before. You'll research different things that may be boring, but you know are gonna be beneficial to you knowing how to move in the field. Just take heed and be aware because a lot of the mistakes be giving you the answers you're looking for real.
Mm.
You know, whether it be structure, like being late to something, like damn, all right, I was late because I didn't prepare 10, 15 minutes in advance. Whatever, I don't know, like 30, whatever whatever the little things are that you gotta work out, your mistakes will be blatant, like it's like
Mhm.
damn near telling you exactly what you need to work on for real.
Mhm.
So that's what I would say. Just be open to learning from them and know that what you trying to do, it's complicated, but the hardest part is being consistent. Once you figure out what you're supposed to be doing, the hardest part is just getting up and doing that every day for real. But once you start doing that, you'll see the results for sure.
Yeah. And when you do
You
what you
know.
love, what do they say? Like, it's not even like working,
Exactly.
right? It's
But if
just
you
what
really that's if you really love it. A lot of
yeah.
people too, another thing I'll tell them too, you got to be aware of like what it is you really doing it for because a lot of people confuse themselves and tell themselves they love something when in actuality they really just love the perks that come with it for real. Like they
Mm.
might love the way it look, like being a rapper, like to look sweet. Oh, I want to wear the chain, or I want to wear the designer gear. Like you could do all that stuff and not even have to be a rapper. So you might y'all like want to reconsider for real. Cause it come with a lot of stuff that you're not necessarily trying to do. Like I'm a very like introverted person for real, unless I know you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was forced to have to be more outgoing and be more extroverted at times. Like when it's time to perform, like I'm a whole nother dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But on the real, most people know like I'm very like I keep to myself. I'm chill, funny dude, but not with everybody type stuff.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love what I do, so I was willing to get uncomfortable for it, and
That
you
I
know,
mean, that was a beautiful way to say that. Um,
feel me?
yeah. But how did you really figure out that you loved it? Do you remember
Um,
the moment when
mhm.
you felt like, okay, no matter what like happens in life, I'm always gonna be a musician?
Mm. Uh, damn.
Or is it just
it's
a
hard.
feeling?
It's a feeling, yeah.
And what does it feel like? Describe it.
Mm, you know how like when you was back in middle school and you see that, like, let's say hypothetically you see that first little crush you got or whatever, like
Okay.
that's kind of how it feels. Like you got that warm feeling inside about it. Yeah, the butterflies, exactly.
Wow.
It's that type of feeling with it. Like if I make a song that's feeling right, or I find a beat that feels right, or even if I start finally playing a song that I've been working on for so long that I can finally play, like I've been working on Human Nature by Michael Jackson. Like the fact that I remember how patchy it was when I first started playing that junk, and just
I
being
feel
able
what
to
it is
play
now.
it the way I feel it now, I'm like, damn, it give you that warm feeling inside. And honestly, I just feel like super connected with God, and like my spirits is flowing. So it's like a spiritual experience, I would say. Like that just lets me know I love this.
Wow.
And I've been having it for so long that I can't really pinpoint exact. It's different moments where I felt it more than others for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been happening for a while, so it's hard to pinpoint it. You know?
Yeah. No, but I think that you just expressed how it feels. I think we all get that that similar feeling doing something.
Yeah.
So I think it's just figuring out what makes you feel like that, and
Yeah.
then trying to, like, center your life around it. I saw a post and it was like, you got to figure out what your strength is in
Mhm.
life, right? Whether it's
Right.
communication or, if it's math, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then find a way to make money doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will be successful,
It's great advice. Yeah.
And I think it is great advice. honestly.
1000%.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we're gonna spice things up a little bit. I'm
Okay,
gonna
bet.
ask you a little bit of a juicy question.
Bet.
Do you have a celebrity crush right now?
Celebrity crush? Nah, I ain't got no celebrity crush right now.
Yes.
Nah, I'm chilling. I ain't got no
No?
celebrity crush.
He's like,
Nah.
okay.
Not right now and stuff. Yeah.
It's totally fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. If you could create the ultimate pregame playlist, give me 3 artists that are
Okay.
on that playlist.
Damn, that's a good one.
Or
And it's
songs.
For pregame for who though? Like, you know what I mean? Like basketball, like football. What we doing?
A tough athlete.
Okay.
It could be anybody.
Tough
Somebody
athlete.
who's trying to, get a dub.
Okay. Right now.
Who's somebody who's going to?
Yeah.
Actually, not trying. We're all
Right.
trying.
Yeah, fact. Fact. Somebody who's going to get a dub.
Mm-hmm.
I would say right now, currently, I would put Friday on there.
Ooh.
Friday going crazy.
What
You
song
got-
of Friday you putting on the pregame playlist?
Man, like, honestly, like, I'm putting,
Shout out to
like,
Friday. I love Friday.
Right.
But
nah,
I
it's
listen to
100.
Friday when I'm like, in the shower, got
Okay,
the
yeah,
steam
yeah.
going.
But he got some other vibes for you, though. like,
Okay, maybe I'm
if
not
you dive
tapped
into,
in.
like, did you hear the new joint? What's the name of the new joint? I feel wild.
I
Kid.
mean, I listen to.
He got a song with Meek Mill right now.
Oh, you're
That's
right.
going crazy. And I don't even know the name of it, but it's just the
Okay, and they're
feeling
both from Philly, so like they
Yeah.
give you that, okay.
just that ambitious, that grit,
Yes,
that pain.
you're
like,
right. You're right.
That joint, or you can go God Did. But either way, like,
Mhm.
obviously that's like the OG joint everybody
Mhm.
know him for. But Friday just in general got that voice that I feel like pregame could get you like in your jam for real. Just depending on what song though, like it
Wow.
depends.
I
But
think that
that's just-
speaks to you and your style. Like,
exactly.
that's beautiful.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, so seasonally, like that's where I'm at right now. I would put Friday on the jump. Future, you can't go wrong with Future.
Mhm.
Feel like his music is just real open and fun and free.
Mhm.
And then last but not least, damn, I would say
Friday, Future.
Friday, Future. And let's go Mawty Maw. I can't even think of nobody else right now. You did what I'm saying? Like, I gotta keep it funky with them. So.
Okay, so then what song of yours would you be like, oh yeah, play this when you want to get hype?
I would say I got a song. See, it's my unreleased stuff for real. That's really like really
well,
going
put us
for real.
on.
But I would say
You're
Hustling.
gonna release it eventually though.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, I would say Hustling. It's a real up tempo type joint with a lot of brass in it. So it's like give you that real champion, like triumphant type vibe. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Damn near make you feel like you won the jump before the game started type vibe.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I would say that.
If you had to go bar for bar in a rap battle against any artist,
Mm-hmm.
dead or alive, who are you picking?
Like,
And are you winning?
right. If I had to go bar for bar with it, dead or alive.
Yeah, you gotta pick them.
And I gotta pick them?
And the question is, are you winning?
Right. Am I winning?
Yeah.
Am I winning a battle? I feel like it depends on who I pick. If I'm being honest, I'm not I'm not gonna sit
Okay,
up there
well,
in front.
we want you to win.
Uh-huh.
But we also want it to be a good battle.
Right.
So who are you gonna pick where it's like you feel like it'll be good? You remember verses back in
Yeah,
COVID?
yeah, for
You
sure.
know, and some of them were like soulmates.
Yeah.
So let's say it was like a versus. It could go either way,
okay.
depending on who the crowd is.
If we talking about rap, like rap battle, like I would say honestly, like I'm not gonna hold you. Like if I lock in and get in that mode, I feel like I could get with anybody for real.
Wow.
So that's how you have to think. Like,
it's true.
and I'm not personally a rap like battle artist. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
I've been more into my artistry side where I'm making records and stuff like that. But if I really get in that mode for real, I feel as though I could get up with a lot of these guys for real. Because when I start flowing off the top, like, and I'm in that mode, like I could get niggas problems for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not in that
anytime,
mode
anywhere.
right now. Yeah. So I
Okay.
keep it real humble, but I don't want to get it misconstrued at the same time. You know
No,
what I'm
please
saying?
don't.
Yeah.
Ooh, I felt it.
Yeah, but if I had to pick somebody, you could give me somebody like Drake or Wayne or somebody.
Oh, Drake just lost so bad to Kendrick.
You could give me somebody like them. I would say anybody but Kendrick though.
Ooh.
Just don't give me Kendrick. Nah,
Wow.
I don't want no smoke with bro.
I think you guys are very similar though, because like pictures now coming out of Kendrick, studying at I think it was like Yale or something like that.
Oh yeah, what was he studying?
I think he was in a music class, a music composition
wow.
class,
Okay.
and like it was back in 2021 or something like that. But some pictures went viral of him on Twitter
I didn't even see that.
in
That's
class.
tough.
Yeah,
I didn't see
so
that.
I think it's like awesome. Just
I just feel like bro, he just like. Yeah, like you just got like you gotta really be like.
I get it.
I feel like some people really get fueled off of like that, like just defeating people. Period. Like I'm more of a
Ooh.
like I want to really like connect with the audience and all that, and I think that's what bro like. I feel like that's what bro got. I mean, let me cool it. But all I'm saying is, yeah. I feel like Kendrick probably would be if I had to say one of the highest level competitors when it comes to like lyricism, like lyrical spar. He got it like right now.
When you talk about connecting, and that's very real.
Mhm.
I think anybody would say the same.
Agree with that. Yeah.
When you talk about connecting to the audience,
Mhm.
has there ever been a time when maybe like you looked out into the crowd and either they don't know your music, but
Yeah.
or you just felt like the disconnect was there? And how did you overcome that?
Honestly, knowing that you're an upcoming artist, like if you're aware, you already go into it knowing, all right, this is where I'm at right now, and I'm building towards something. So let me just give it my best performance. You know what I'm saying? So I don't personally like when you start off in the local scene. Like I had a supportive a supportive clique around me growing up, coming up in the beginning. So the smaller venues and stuff, I felt a lot of love, you know what I'm saying? Because it's more intimate and I did bring who I brought with me. But at the same time, it wasn't that big a crowd. So it was like the perfect opportunity to really get your stuff off and kind of see what people gravitating towards. So I would notice, for example, I never felt like I've never been booed or nothing like that, knock on wood. I mean, even if they did, I'm the type of person that I'm not fazed by that.
Yeah.
So the way I would get through it is just being open to criticism. If you're closed off though to criticism, that's gonna make it harder. Like when your people's on the back end tell you don't want people that's saying, bro, you killed it, bro. And whole time like you did not kill it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they was not feeling anything. You wasn't mouthing the words out. Your breathing was off. Like you need to know all that. So I would look forward to the critique. And I think that's what helped me get better for real. Cause I'm not gonna lie to you. In the past 2 years, I've become such a way better performer than I was in the beginning. And I noticed the difference. And it come from rehearsal. Like anything you want to be good at, you gotta practice. That's why basketball teams practice.
The
Like
reps. Yeah.
you gotta rehearse. So yeah.
So speaking of performances, where can we see you perform next? Where can the fans tap in with you?
I'm about to announce a little small tour.
Okay. Starting
in
where?
the near future. It's gonna start in College Park. We're gonna start in College Park, and
Awesome.
we're gonna expand out to like New York. I got a couple of venues waiting to hear back from, but I'm routing a small tour just for myself to be able to kind of see who's rocking with what. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But in the near future, I'll be posting a lot of my stuff on social media,
Okay.
so everybody can tap
So please
in.
tell everybody where they could follow you on social media.
Okay.
What's your
for sure.
at name? Everything?
Mawty Maw on all platforms. That's MAWTY MAW That's on Instagram. On TikTok, Mozart. That's MAWZART, like Mozart, but Mozart. And then website MawtyMaw.com. And yeah, all things Mawty Maw for sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, Mawty, thank you so much for taking the time. I learned so much.
I appreciate
This
you,
was
LaLa.
just a very inspiring conversation.
That's love.
And good luck with
Appreciate
everything.
it. Yep.
And we will all be tapping in and hearing you soon.
No question.
Thank
Appreciate
you
you,
so much.
LaLa. For
Stay
sure.
tuned, everyone.
All right.
Bye. Till next time.